Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. We're going to be baking today healthy desserts with RX Sugar. Thank you RX Sugar for sponsoring our class, and learn how to bake with allulose because this is really interesting and this is life-changing. So these sweeteners are ideal for diabetics, pre-diabetics, people with insulin resistance, or people who just want to watch their lifestyle and diet. So we're going to be baking with it, we're going to be cooking with it, we're going to be making a chocolate cake like with a filling, and we're going to be using this syrup as well for the glaze and the filling as well. So stay tuned and watch the video here. The recipe will be posted below. And you also have 20% discount on RX Sugar. We're going to link that below the video and on the screen as well. And we have a giveaway for you guys in the US. So all these products will be sent to your house thanks to RX Sugar, which I've been using for years and I love it. And I think it's just really fabulous to bake and cook, and especially wait till you taste the caramel. You're gonna love it. So my name is Vanessa Musi. I pioneered healthy baking 32 years ago professionally, as I studied to be a pastry chef in Mexico, and I was diagnosed with hypoglycemia and pre-diabetes. My dad passed away from diabetes, and this is my baking school here in Austin, Texas, where we do online training and hands-on workshops for people who want to bake healthier and cook amazing desserts. So stay tuned. We're gonna start now with a recipe, and we're gonna go through all the steps. So the recipe will be posted below. So these little cakes are like muffins, kind of like a molten lava cake, kind of imagine that. There's so many ways to make this recipe. You can make it in a bundt cake, you could fill it, and I'm gonna make it simpler, and I'm gonna make little muffins that I'm gonna fill, and I'm just gonna decorate with a glaze. So you can make with your kids any weekend. It's a simple project. So use these pans. You can put muffin liners or not, whatever you prefer. If you're gonna handle them, I suggest you put muffin liners. If you're just gonna decorate them and put them on a plate, you could not use a muffin liner. So if you're using the muffin liners, just put it like this. If you're not using the muffin liners, spray them with, I'll do some and some so you can see the difference. Use a coconut spray, whatever one you have works all around. That. Okay, so let's take this aside. We'll keep this for that. Okay, now we're gonna go and start making the cake. We're gonna make the cakes, then we're gonna make the caramel, then we're gonna make the whipped cream, and then we're gonna make the chocolate glaze. It'll be really, really fast. So I'll put this aside here so it's not in the way. So we're going to be making this by hand. It's super simple. You don't need any fancy equipment. You just need a sifter and 2 bowls like this. So anybody, you can make it with your kids. It's super, super simple. So this is a really great recipe. And again, this is diabetic friendly, blood sugar friendly, keto, and all that. Okay, so here we have our sweetener. I'm going to pinpoint all the ingredients. This is all scaled out in a mise en place, which is a tray prepared with all your ingredients. So you have it in grams, so it's foolproof, and everybody's going to come out with the same texture and the same results versus having it in cups, right? So let's start over here. So I mean, this is the hardest part. Mixing it and making it's pretty simple. Okay, so let's go over here. So I'll show you all the tips and tricks to baking with allulose because it's not that simple or straightforward, and I had to do a lot of recipe development and a lot of testing. So here we have RX Sugar, the powdered form. Here we have the liquid form of RX Sugar. So that's going to give us moisture, it's going to give us a little more sweetener. And here we have the 2 eggs room temperature, vanilla extract. All the ingredients and brand are listed. And almond flour, the one from Costco. Avocado oil. Almond milk or macadamia milk, always unsweetened. 2 types of cocoa powder for flavor and texture. You can get them in any supermarket. Baking soda, sea salt. And there we go. Let's start. Okay, so the only thing you're going to do, and it's pretty, once your oven is preheated, this is a house oven. I'm going to put it at a lower temperature, so I'm going to do 340. Okay, so this is a convection oven, house oven. It's really simple, really straightforward. And I'm going to sift the dry ingredients over here. So what am I sifting? Only, not the sweetener is not considered a dry ingredient, it's considered a wet. So I'm going to sift the baking soda, salt. There's a lot of humidity, so salt's sticky. Cocoa powder. The two types. Make sure you get everything out. I'm going to get my tools out here. So use your spatula to remove any of the extra parts. Like that. Now, once I've sifted this, why am I sifting this? Because the cocoa powder is always lumpy. So you got to make sure you take everything out. Okay, I'll add the almond flour. I don't really need to sift it, but I'm just going to make it lighter. Okay, and here's a tip. You can use your whisk to do this really fast and not get your hands in, and just aerates everything. Make sure your sifter is wide enough for the almond flour. So let us know in the comments where you're following us from, if you have any questions, and there will be time to answer all of your questions or whatever your comments you may have. Okay, so once that is in here, put that back. Mix this together to incorporate all the dry ingredients very well. Okay, now we're going to go and put this aside, and we're going to take everything we don't need out of here. And here we're going to mix our wet ingredients. So I always start with egg and vanilla over here. It's very straightforward. Everybody's made like a carrot cake. That's kind of my example I'll go to. Eggs, vanilla, like that. And I'm really excited because I'm using the best quality ingredients, and that I can taste already. So here's the allulose. This is the powdered form, and it's less sweet than sugar. It's only 75% as sweet as sugar. So sugar sweetens 100%, allulose sweetens like 75%. So make sure you understand that, because it's going to be a lot less sweet, okay? And allulose tends to make baked products very soft, so it doesn't have that crunchy effect like sugar does. It makes everything softer and a little more moisture. So that's great for cakes, and cupcakes not so great for cookies. So make sure you take that in mind when using allulose. Now, it's not as sweet as sugar, so I'm going to add a little bit of the RX sugar syrup. And this is also going to give us more taste, more moisture, and more of a binding agent. So I'm taking this idea from the French pastry chefs who add glucose and inverted sugar to their pastries. So that's where I took that tip. Whisk that in. Now we're going to add our avocado oil over here. So Hostess, the brand Hostess, just came out with these cakes that I just saw like literally 3 days ago. And they're called meltdowns, and they're filled, I'm going to replicate that idea. They're filled with a caramel, like a dulce de leche filling, and they have a chocolate glaze. And then you could just pop them in the oven and make the center molten. That's why they're called meltdowns. So I'm going to do something similar, and you'll see now. I'm going to add the milk over here. So you can see this is very, very wet, very moist. A lot of liquid. Now we're going to add the dry to the liquid. pull that out, take that. Now we're gonna mix this. Don't over mix it, we just need to incorporate the wet and the dry, that's all. You don't need to keep mixing. Okay, so when you're baking with allulose, here's a few tips. Try the batter so you know how sweet it's going to be. If you want it to be a little sweeter, you can add a little bit more. So the ratio usually is 1.25 to 1. So 1¼ cups of allulose to 1 cup of sugar. That's what our RX sugar says. So this is the texture of the batter. It looks like basically a pancake batter. Now we're going to reserve this. We're going to start filling our cakes, our molds. So you could also use something like this, which is a larger muffin type. And we're going to start filling these with our batter. So make sure you mix the batter before you start filling, because the batter will separate a little bit. Okay, so what do you fill? You can use this tablespoon. You could use something like that to fill them. I'm just going to make it very simple. So gather your batter together. Do one last mix. You could use this. You could use a scoop. You could use a piping bag, whatever is easier. It's very wet, so I'm just going to go like this. I'm going to fill them 2/3 full, not more than that, so a little more than half. Okay. So your oven should be fully preheated, so that's like 30 minutes before. It's going like that. I'm going to make some with muffin liners as well, just so I can pull out a few really fast. So you can also do them in a silicone muffin pan, but that takes longer, and that you need to put on a perforated tray. So I'm going to do these and these. Okay, now we're going to pop them in the oven. So just make sure they're evenly filled. That way you don't have to take them out of the oven sooner. Clean up the mess on the sides, just because that will bake onto the. Okay, ready. Okay, so while that's baking, we're going to do our chocolate glaze, our caramel, and our whipped cream. Okay, so you can make that in advance. You don't have to make it like me all at once. Okay, so let's make the caramel. The caramel is something I really love. I'm super excited. Who doesn't love salted caramel? You can put it on everything. It's so, so, so good. This is an amazing recipe, guys. So make sure you make it. It's delicious. It tastes like sugar, and it's great for you. So let's make it. I'm going to bring out my pot and my stove, and it's going to take a few minutes to make. The whipped cream is super fast and the chocolate glaze is super fast, so that's going to be done in no time. So this is my stove, you guys, because the stove is in the back, so for the video purposes I'm using this. An induction burner, you would use your stove or whatever you have. So I'm basically going to put all my ingredients here. I'm going to add powdered RX sugar as it comes in the canister. What I love about the products is you can have the sticks, you can have the canister, and you could have the liquid. I mean, all that is, they're just great. So the vanilla extract, I'm using a really good quality. And sea salt, I love sea salt, and I get all the sea salts from all over the world. This is from San Francisco. And anyway, this is the heavy cream. Sorry, this is the macadamia milk or soy milk, both work. Soy milk or macadamia milk work really well, especially unsweetened soy milk, I think, which is organic, works really nicely. This is a heavy cream. Any heavy cream, any brand works really well. Just put that together. You could also, and here's a tip, I didn't do it, but you could add a little bit more syrup. I'm going to show you how to do that here. Okay, so RX sugar has different types of syrups. Some are chocolate, some are just normal plain, some have vanilla, some are pancake syrups. So you could use a pancake syrup, which would be really nice, or you could use the regular. I'm just going to add like a tablespoon, and just for texture. And it's going to be really nice and thick and flowy. So it's great for caramel as well. So I'm just going to whisk this together, and then we're done. Okay, so this is going to take a few minutes, you guys. Just over medium heat, keep whisking. Make sure your pot is like a casserole type, not a tall pot. So, meaning not a soup pot, not a little. You want it to be wide and large. Okay. So while that's mixing, that's going to take a while, and you don't want to keep me watching over here. I'm going to do the chocolate glaze, which is super simple, super easy, and the simplest thing you can make. And it's a French recipe, which I love and I make all the time. And again, you can adapt your ingredients or your chocolates to your needs. So basically, I have a 70% chocolate. You could use unsweetened chocolate, I mean sugar-free chocolate like Lily's, those kind of products, or a higher percentage chocolate like an 85% chocolate. All those are possible. So I'm going to add this to microwave safe container. You could do it at like a bain-marie. You could do it over the stove. I mean, there's so many ways to melt chocolate. I'm going to melt chocolate here, and I have my avocado oil here. Okay, so let's just keep this lower. Just keep attention to your caramel so it doesn't overflow. Okay, so let's start melting this. So when you melt chocolate, you don't want high heat, you don't want a full heat, you want intervals, and you want to be mixing it. Okay, so 30-second intervals in your microwave, or make sure your bain-marie is not super boiling. So our caramel is eventually going to look like this in a little bit. So what can you use the caramel for? So we're going to be making a cheesecake next week, which is going to be divine. If you add caramel on a cheesecake, why not? And what else could you add it to? Like an ice cream. You can add it to a. Let's give us some ideas. What would you add caramel to?
Is that a question for me?
Yeah.
Oh well, I mean, come on. What can't you put caramel on? Oh, this is a really good question. Could you make? You could use it on top of fruit, right? Like you'd make it like dip an apple in it if you were interested.
Yeah,
in
like
that,
an apple.
right?
We've always wanted to make an apple tart. We are going to make one soon too.
Right.
An apple, like Dutch apple pie, like your mom used to make. And I like to make it in frappuccinos. Frappuccinos with salt, with caramel is so good.
Well, and the amazing thing is you could do all those totally diabetic friendly, right? Because you start with the caramel, and the rest of the recipe could be
they're so good.
sugar-free.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're still going to mix the chocolate. Don't just put it in the microwave and expect magic to happen. You have to keep stirring.
You got a comment, you could do it on waffles, obviously, pancakes.
Oh yeah, for
all
sure.
that sort
I
of
was
stuff,
just thinking
right?
about that, yeah. So like the recipe says, I'm just going to melt it. We don't want to overheat it. So around 45 degrees Celsius maximum.
Right, for anyone here that's on the audience, not used to Celsius, well, welcome to professional pastry world.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's easy. If you have any questions about that, literally go into Google, type in 45 Celsius to Fahrenheit, it'll give you the number. And the same thing with grams, all that sort of stuff. You can convert back and forth. Super easy just on Google if you want to. But there's a method to the madness, is that when you use grams, it provides a consistency to the recipes that you can't get with cups and whatnot, because cups are measuring volume, not weight. And what's really important in pastry is the weight.
Exactly. So you see how this chocolate is not fully melted? You can see the chocolate discs.
You want to do a close-up of that so they can see what's going on?
Mm-hmm. So you can see the chocolate chunks.
Okay, all right, we got that.
Mm-hmm. So keep it like that. I
can see pieces in there, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so we're going to keep it like that, and it will melt with the warmth it already has. Don't keep putting it in the microwave because you're going to overheat it. I'm just slowly going to make that completely melted with the residual heat. And then I can start. Okay, and then once this is totally melted, I'm going to add the oil, and I'm going to let it at room temperature. So this you can once it hardens, you can reuse it again, and you could use it like up to a month. Nothing happens to it. You just, continue chopping it, melting it, chopping it, melting it, and you can use it for all sorts of things. So this is a glaze. It can be used for anything from, like cakes, turtles, just very simple candies. I'm going to add the oil over here. And I've made the same recipe with milk chocolate, so we have a different decoration as well. And just so you notice the contrast of colors, it's going to be really nice. Donuts, it's something I've used a lot.
Oh
so.
yes, caramel on the donuts. Oh.
Yeah,
And these can also be diabetic-friendly donuts,
exactly.
by the way.
Yeah. Little muffin, like square rectangular muffins. Okay, so now this is really fully combined. The oil and the chocolate. Let it at room temperature. And it looks shiny, okay? Put that aside, let it cool. This, a while ago I made the milk chocolate one, it already set, like this, so you notice. See what happens. I'm just gonna melt this a little longer so that I can use it for, I want it thick but not set, right? Just so I can pipe it. Okay, our caramel is almost there. A little bit more.
Hey, well, while you're doing that, I want to also remind everyone that's watching, or either watching live or watches this video later, we're doing an amazing raffle sponsored by our friends at RX Sugar. If you go to our website, I'll put the link in the chat here in a second. You can basically enter to win a whole kit, like a full, fully equipped RX Sugar pantry, basically,
Pantry, yeah.
Gift pack. And it's awesome. You'll get the powdered version, the liquid version, the pancake syrup, the regular syrup. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. It's pretty amazing. I'll just make sure you go into it. Now, one thing I would say, in order to win, I know we have an international audience. Unfortunately, for those folks outside the United States, we can't ship outside of the US, so you've got to be a resident of the United States with an address here to win. But I'll put the link in the chat and you can enter to win if you haven't already done so.
And for those who've asked us, where can you get RX Sugar products? You can get them like literally in Walgreens, Amazon, Walmart.
That is actually a really good point.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the store locator link in the chat. There are stores across the country where you can buy this. You can buy it online. Our friends at RX Sugar have done a really good job getting shelf space in various locations and online as well. I will say though that if you decide that you want to go and start baking or cooking with RX Sugar, you can do so, and you can get 20% off if you buy directly online from RX Sugar. And you can do that by going to the website, and then at checkout use the discount code Chef Vanessa 20. It's on screen right now, and you get 20% off. So that's like an amazing deal. So make sure you take advantage of it.
Okay, so these are almost done. And I get a lot of questions privately on social media, like what products would I get? Which ones do I use mostly? I'm going to show you what I use mostly, which is basically these. These are my top 4 products that I would get immediately. So I love these for taking on the go, traveling. So these are sticks.
Those are little packs, right?
Little packs, like
powder packs.
I'll pull one out. So you can add it to your coffee, you can add it to your lemonade, your matcha. I think that's really important when you're traveling or just going to a coffee shop, because a lot of times they don't have these options, or they have something that's probably not to your liking. So like sticks like that, they're really nice on the go.
Well, no disrespect to other types of sweeteners. Everyone can make their choice at the end of the day, but if you're going to use a zero glycemic, blood-friendly sugar, it needs to be allulose, and particularly RX Sugar, right? And just much better for you.
Yeah. So I like this one. I use it a lot. I use it like I just made a really nice raspberry puree for a cheesecake. And this I use, like I go through one every 3 or 4 days, probably. The pancake one is great. There's a chocolate one that's also really nice, but this would be my top 4. I'll put them here on the side so you can see that. So this is almost done over here, and I'm going to pull out the cakes from the oven. So you'll need a little, always the toothpick test is amazing. Just put it in, done. Okay. Now I'm going to put this on a perforated tray with paper. So it cools really fast. So this is kind of my cooling rack, so to speak. And I'm going to put this over here, let them cool. And once they're cooled, I'm going to pop them in the freezer really fast so we can start filling them. Okay, these need a little more. So caramel is on its way. I can see the color. Allulose also browns really fast, so make sure you put an eye on it. Don't let it go like that. It tends to brown pretty fast because it's got one of these hygroscopic properties, which browns. It's kind of like honey does that, and so that happens. So this is done, you guys. Just gonna let the bubbles settle down, let it cool, and you'll notice how it thickens in a little bit. So let's put this aside. It might need a little more. Yeah, it needs a little more. It's still too. We need to let the bubble sit, so let's go a bit more.
So what caused you to know right now that it needed a little bit more time?
It
looked awesome to me.
Oh,
like,
it's too not thick enough, and it's still watery.
Oh yeah, I can see. It looks a little bit watery.
It's watery, and it's doesn't have enough color. So that color, it's kind of what I'm looking for, is like a honey color, like a dulce de leche kind of color, right? Okay, so those are almost done. Let's start pulling these out. So you're going to need a special spatula. All pastry chefs have a spatula like this. This is one of my favorite tools. I'm going to start running this around to carefully pop them out.
Well, I got the camera looking in from the top, and I don't know where to keep my eyes focused on. That caramel looks delicious, but then I'm also looking you like take the cakes out. It's like, what do I look at?
I know, I'm drooling because I love caramel. Yeah. And you could add a little more salt. I like to add more. I'm going to add some finishing salt, which is Maldon salt. And you can add some miso as well if you wanted a little more interesting flavor. White miso paste, which is now trending.
Wait, you said white miso paste?
Yeah, white miso paste.
That sounds pretty amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, I think we got it. Let's pull them out. No, not quite. Okay, a little more. Okay, so the caramel is a little more bubbly. You can see the bottom of the pan. I can smell it a little more deeply. These are wanting to come out, but not quite. There you go. As long as I have 2 or 3 to decorate, that's fine. There we go, that's another one. So,
Well, you know, related to this, so everyone that joined probably saw the picture that we put on the thumbnail for the video. It's kind of like a big version of this, right? Like more of like a full-size cake. So why did you decide to do the small ones versus the big one for the folks here that are watching?
It's just easier, faster for the video. And it's just easier to assemble, and everybody has a muffin cake at home, so that's kind of why.
Muffin pan or
yeah, muffin pan.
Yeah. All right, so just for ease, but if someone wanted to, they could basically just make
Oh,
it
they
into
can make
a
that,
cake,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's the same recipe.
Same recipe.
I'll show you the pan, and we used the pan last week as well, so that's another consideration. We used them. It's a six cup capacity bun pan. Okay, so now we're just gonna quickly, our caramel is done. It looks beautiful. It's gorgeous, beautiful color, smell.
There's also that trick where when you, tell me if I'm right here, is like when you move the whisk around,
Oh yeah,
it leaves a trace and you can see the bottom of the pan.
let's
right?
do that, yeah.
That's the other trick to know if it's ready. Like there. See how she's moving it and you can kind of see the bottom of the pan and that stays there for a bit. Exactly.
Okay. It smells so good. Okay, so let's
hold
add.
on. Oh, I didn't get, sorry. Let's get another view of that. I was not paying attention. Give me 1 second. We need a camera switch here. Here we go. All right, now we can see.
Okay, now we're going to start, I'm going to add a little more salt, finishing salt, just a tad because it's never not salty enough. And you could cook it a little longer. I mean, it really depends on how, like this other one was a little darker. Caramel, I've noticed that creams also work differently. So that's going to cool down. It's going to thicken really fast. Let's pull this out. I'm going to make the cream. The cream's going to be done really, really fast. And then we're going to fill them, and we're done.
Wait, so you said something there that was interesting. You said that creams behave differently. So you're saying literally depending on which heavy cream you use, you'll get a slightly different color, consistency.
That's what I think it is, because I've used the same allulose and the same recipe, and it just changes. So that's my only explanation to that. So, okay, let's get this ready. We're going to start assembling a few things. I'm going to start whipping the cream and assembling the cakes. It's going to be like 10 minutes really fast. Okay, so we're going to whip it.
All right, so I'm sure a bunch of people that are watching this are going like, what is this contraption that you're about to go use?
So we're going to be using a mixer or whatever thing you have, so you can use whip your cream. I'll give you the two options we have. So let's pull this caramel. Let's cool this first before we start doing anything else. Why am I putting it into a bowl? Because I want it to cool faster. So I'm going to be using it. I'm going to keep it at room temperature, but like I said, if I keep it in this pan, it's just going to keep getting hot. This is a very thick pan, so it needs to cool. I'll pull it out of here. So it cools faster, right? That. See how it's nice and thick? Beautiful. That's the texture, guys. See how it thickened? Okay, that's done. Now we're going to go and whip our cream. So you can use a Thermomix, you can use a mixer, whatever you have, a handheld mixer. I mean, anything works pretty much. I'll use
Right, for
this.
those of you not, or if this is your first time watching one of these videos, or you're not already a professional chef or anything like that, a Thermomix is basically what you'll find in any high-end,
Yeah.
Pastry chef's studio or atelier, as they would say in France, or laboratoire. It's what you use to do a whole bunch of stuff. You can do, it's a food processor, it heats, it can blend, it can mix. It's like basically all in one. But
So
you don't need that for this particular
You can use this.
recipe.
I'm putting these two options, and I'm mindful of the time, so I'm just gonna quickly, before we start doing the cream, just put these out. I'm gonna cut the filling so these are with the muffin liners. Make sure you don't grease the muffin liners, you guys. They're just put directly onto like that, right? Okay, so for these guys, I'm just gonna, so you can use a really large tip like this, and you're gonna start, depending on how, I'm gonna do two presentations. One is gonna be inside, and one is gonna be on the opposite side. So I'm gonna put the hole on the bottom and the hole on the top here, carefully, because they're really fresh. Pull out the filling. I'm gonna put this on the side here, because we're not gonna use that. Take your center, core it.
So you're coring the little cakes, basically.
I'm coring the little cakes. You could
But
use
you're preserving the...
Yeah, keep it so you can cover it.
Yeah, keeping what you're taking out.
So this is what I'm doing here. Okay, that's gonna go on it's gonna be flipped on the bottom. Okay, so I'm gonna do this one that has the muffin liner on the opposite side. So I'm gonna fill it on top over here. Careful, don't go all the way down, because you need some sort of a base, right? You could use 2 or 3 indentations over here. So you want enough space for the cream, okay? That's what I'm saying. So leave a hollow. I'm just gonna do 2 or 3, not a lot.
So if you were doing the full-size cake, what would this look like there? You
just slice it in
totally
half.
different, right?
Slice it in half.
Oh, so you would either make two slices and then fill the center
Slice it and just fill
stack
it,
them.
and then stack it.
Yeah.
You don't need to do this whole preparation. Okay, so I'm gonna put it like that. Actually, I'm gonna put this in the freezer, just because we need to cool it really fast. Okay. Okay, here's the magic happening with the whipped cream. I'm going to take this out because I'm not going to use this. I'm going to use the Thermomix. And then we're going to use a few more things over here. So, okay, so we're going to mix our cream. So this is a bowl I chilled for like an hour.
All right, so that's like the super critical bit, right?
Yeah, you need to do that.
Whether you're using your KitchenAid or you're using one of these high-end food processors, whatever, you got to chill the bowl, right?
Exactly. Chill the bowl. The cream, take it out just when you need it. Don't let it sit. The cream has to be really, really cold. So I'm using this. I'm using a little bit of salt. I'm using a little bit of vanilla bean powder. And I'm using not a lot of sweetener. If you want it to make it sweeter, you can add more. It's an 1/8 of a cup, so look how these are. I don't like my creams too sweet, but you can add a little more. It really depends on your taste. So now I'm gonna add, to turn this, to make this is a food processor, but to turn it, but it's also a mixer. It's also I can also whip cream perfectly well. So I'm adding that attachment to turn it into a mix. If you don't have this, you use your handheld mixer. Same thing, chilled bowl, cold cream. We're gonna add your powdered allulose. So allulose is not sold powdered, you have to pulverize it.
Okay, hold on, wait. So this is like important information.
Yeah.
So in order for this to come out the way you would ideally want it to come out, you got to take the granular allulose sugar from RX sugar
and make it powder.
And you got to turn it into a powder. How do you do that?
You would blend it in a high-speed blender like this and pulverize it.
So basically, take the RX sugar, granular sugar, stick it in a blender, kick it as fast as you can, like highest.
We did it
speed,
last
right?
class in our raspberry white chocolate bundt cake. If you want to follow that.
Oh yeah, check out that video.
Yeah, check out that video. If not, we can do a separate video as well. Okay, so like I said, you could add a little bit more. I'm going to show you how it looks like once it's pulverized. Basically, it looks like this. It's here somewhere. Here. Okay, so from this, here we go. It looks like powdered sugar.
Well, we're not going to be able to see
Yeah.
that. It just looks white.
Just looks white.
Can you demonstrate in your hand, perhaps?
Yeah.
Show us
Let me
what it
show
looks
you
like.
the original really quickly before we do
Yeah.
our cream.
You can get if you can get a close-up on that, I think that'll be super helpful.
So this
for the
comes in
folks.
like a really refined sugar texture, so it looks like castor sugar.
Can you get your close-up on that so we can see it? Please.
Yeah. Okay, let's do a close-up because a lot of people have these questions. So are we there? Can you see that? This is how it looks like when you buy it. Okay? It's super fine. This is what I used to bake with, okay? And like I said, it comes like this. Okay, so now to make it powdered, let me show you what that looks like. I just literally pulverized it in a blender to make powdered sugar. So you need a really good blender, high speed. So that's it. It looks totally powdered, right?
Yeah. All right, we got that. Thank you. Perfect.
So you could also use a spice grinder, which is very small, but that would kind of work, right? Okay, so now I'm gonna mix this. So when you're doing whipped cream, you wanna do a speed, like medium speed, not too high. It's gonna take a little bit there. And I'm gonna start almost filling the cupcakes in a little bit. I do like to taste everything, personally. So I will taste the cream, and if I need to, I will add more. So make sure you have extra if you want to taste your cream. Okay, so make sure you have a pastry bag with a tip ready to fill your cake or your muffins. Same recipe, different presentation. So here is the the photograph I did the other day is like this. It's one recipe, and you just slice it and fill it with the cream and the caramel. Okay, that's the recipe in the photo.
And if they don't have a bundt cake mold, they could just use just like regular. If they don't have that, they could just use 2 regular cake
Yeah,
pans,
I mean most
right?
people have one of these. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so now I'm gonna start filling these guys. I made this before. I'm gonna fill them with chocolate. So let me melt the milk chocolate when it's setting. I need to melt it again. Okay, this is almost done. Okay, you can hear it almost coming together, almost there. Okay, make sure you watch it because heavy cream takes a while and to mix, to whip up, and you need patience. Patience and slow time. You need to build up small bubbles. So it's looking good. I'll show you how it looks a little bit. So you're starting to see a vortex cream coming in. Same when you're doing a handheld mixer, same with your KitchenAid. That's why the bowl is cold, to keep that cool, very firm cream. My tip is not to whip less than 2 cups. It's not going to be very firm, and you can always re-whip it tomorrow. You can always keep it in the fridge. So let me show you how it's not ready. It's not ready yet. It needs more time. It's too soft. So see how it's too soft right there? It doesn't hold its shape, but now I'm gonna, here we go. Now I'm gonna taste it because I do want to see.
So how do you know it's too soft? I mean, it doesn't look soft to me. So what's
It's collapsing.
Oh, it collapses back. Okay,
it does need a little more. I'm going to add more. So I will make sure to adjust that recipe a little bit. It needs a little bit more flavor.
So basically, it needs to be stiff enough that it doesn't collapse back on itself in the blender.
Exactly.
Or in the mixer.
So firm peaks. So I'm going to add a little more.
So you're just doing that because it needs a little bit more sweet?
It needs more, yeah.
Okay.
I was too conservative in the sweetener, but this is really one of those things that you don't have a specific recipe. It's really up to your taste. Some people like it super sweet, some people don't. I mean, we have a lot of other sweet stuff, so. Okay, now we're gonna go back to my mixer. Same speed. So a good cream with a 36% fat content will have that texture. Make sure you have that, if not it doesn't work, okay? Okay, our cream is ready. So let's look at it. So it's nice and firm. See that there? Beautiful. I'm gonna bring out another spoon.
Now I can really see it from the
Yeah,
top.
now you can see it, right?
Really nice, yeah. I almost just want to eat the whipped cream, you know.
And you know what it looks like? It looks like ice. It looks like ice cream, basically. So that's kind of my taste on it. So look how firm it is. Okay, that is like whipped cream. So you can make it the day before. I mean, I'm gonna put some in here. Don't continue whipping it more than this because it will become butter. Okay, it's beautiful on a meringue, or God, it's so good. Yeah, raspberry, it's strawberry season, so why not? Okay, let's take this, pull this aside. I'm just gonna take this out over here. And now we're gonna start fixing our cakes. Okay, let's start assembling really fast. This is where the fun part, I love the assembly part. It's just super cool. So you can also mix heavy whipped cream with your caramel and make it like a mousse, which would be really, really nice.
You know, the other cool thing about using this, you know, style of little cakes versus the big cake is that this is also really good for kids. Kids could get involved. They could fill it up. They could like handle it in their hand. I mean, that would be like super cool.
Super cool, yeah.
For a Mother's Day activity as well,
Yeah.
right?
Well, mothers love it. I mean, these always sell out really well. So, okay, I'm just gonna make these. I think we're missing one. Okay, so keep this ready. Now we're going to cover them. I'm just going to decorate a few just for time purposes. Just cover this. Make sure you cover it, but it's not over the top, okay? Just make sure it's really well like that.
So you're hiding.
I'm hiding cream, and I'm trying to level it off, okay?
With the crumbs that you took out originally when you were coring them.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because you can't really pull out a slice, so. I mean, I wish you could, but you can't really. So flush it off as much as you can. I mean, level it off like that. If not, you will see the lumps. Okay. You can also level it off with your spatula like that. That one needed a little more. So if you over whip your cream, it will become like very porous. So there's a fine line, you guys. If you over whip it, here's a great tip. It's happened, all these things have happened to me, of course. If you over whip it, what you could also do is add some unwhipped cream and mix it again, and it'll reconstruct. Okay. So since that's the bottom, I'm not worried about it. That's the bottom. It's going to be presented like that. So let's start decorating these. Okay, so we forgot the caramel. So I'm going to do one with the caramel because we did forget it. So let's go like this. This is going to be on the bottom. That's on the bottom. Let's do that one. So where does the caramel go? I totally forgot about it. Important, yeah.
Don't forget the caramel.
My favorite part, I'm forgetting. So anyway, here we go. We have time. We have time and we have resources. So there we go. There's our whipped cream. Now I'm going to swirl the caramel on top. And this I discovered just the other day when I was doing the photographs because I just loved how it looked. Now the caramel firmed up, and that's normal. It's too thick. So what do? Oh my God, it's too thick. Don't worry about it. Pop it in the oven or microwave and let it warm up. And that's normal, and that's going to happen in all caramels, okay? Now I'm going to start assembling these.
And just to be super clear, you put it in the oven, not the microwave.
You could use either one.
Yeah, I'm just saying because you were using a metal container. So don't put metal containers in the microwave and turn them on.
Exactly.
Okay.
So let's start doing these, guys, and put this milk chocolate over here.
All right, so we got whipped cream, no carbs. We got milk chocolate covering. Is that right?
Yeah, the milk chocolate can, like I said, you can get the Lily's chocolate without sugar. It's really nice.
If you want it to be 100%, this is, if you want it to be completely compliant, diabetic-friendly, get a sugar-free chocolate. We have that, and then we have the dark chocolate and a caramel.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. And so we did a lot of applications with allulose. So we did the caramel, we did the cream, we did the powdered sugar for the cream, the cake. So it's really important to know that you've just used 3 ways of using allulose, right? So now I've melted the caramel. You can see it. This is one of my favorite, the best times it's come out. Sometimes I think caramel is really temperamental. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it doesn't work that great. So there it is, gorgeous. If you wanted to thin it out, you can add a little more cream. But now I'm just going to use it like this. I'm just going to add a little bit. I could also, here we go. Ready for the magic. Put that in there. Like that. I'm not going to worry about if it's like that. Beautiful. It's so good. Okay, now I'm just going to go like this. I'm going to spread it in a little bit. Don't worry, it's different texture. Like that. That's where the caramel goes. You saw that there. And then now I'm just going to flip it. And how do I present these? Because you need to put something. I'm just going to plate it here so you can see this. And I'm also going to do a line of milk chocolate and a line of, so we're putting this down below. Pop it into one of these muffin liners like this. This is how we're going to present it, okay? See how pretty that looks right there? I'm just going to use different ones, okay? We had another one over here. Pop that in. And I'm just going to do 1 and 1. And now this one I'm going to pop in the freezer, and I'm going to show you how I decorate it really, really fast. Our freezer is super cold. Okay, now I'm also going to do, so these are going to be really cool. So I'm just going to do 2 lines like that, really simple, nothing fancy. I'll put it up closer for you to see. Just a really nice, simple decoration, very modern. This is my idea of the meltdowns, literally. I mean, who doesn't love milk chocolate, right? Okay, there we go. Do one more line here, and now, yeah, you can always be inspired by different products, right? So there you go, and I'm also gonna do the other one, so I'll put the other one in the middle so you see that decoration here. And yeah, we're almost ready. I'll set this one ready for something else. You could also use it with a dark chocolate. So how do you make a cornet or a pastry thing? I'm just going to do this quickly. Grab a triangle like this. I'm just going to fold it, the sides and the bottom like that. Fold it down. Make a triangle like this. Really fast. Pop it like that. I'm going to add my dark chocolate mixture here. that over here. So you don't want to fill your pastry.
That's like your homemade piping bag, basically.
Exactly. Don't fill them up more than like that, maximum up to here. You just need a lot of mobility, so you don't want to fill it too much. Now this needs to thicken a little bit. This is a little runny. Let's just set it on the side. How do I know? Because it's too thin. It needs to have more time, okay? So let's put these aside, and we're almost ready.
So that one you're just laying down on the cold countertop so that it thickens a little bit?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take this. This is going to be done like in seconds, pretty much. Okay, so how do we do this guy? This part, which I did on the cake. And I'm going to bring those sprinkles so just so you show which ones I used for that. Okay, so these are called jimmies or sprinkles. I'm going to add that just because that's what I used on the cake that you saw in the photo. And they're just really high quality chocolate. Now these do have a little bit of sugar, but it's not a lot. So now that I've cooled this, I'm just going to go like this really, really quickly. Carefully, you don't want a whole lot. So ideally it needs to be cold. And just going to go grab like that. It's a little runny, but that's okay. I'm just gonna...
So you took the cake cold out of the freezer.
Yeah.
Not like frozen, but just cold.
It should be frozen ideally.
Or it could be frozen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you need a temperature shock so it sets really fast. In this case, it's not that frozen, but it's just going to take longer. It's going to take long, okay?
So you dipped it in and that kind of cools down the chocolate and it like creates it, it solidifies it.
Yeah,
right?
it could be colder, I will say that, okay? We can do one more later on. And then I'm just gonna add some sprinkles on top. Just let it set a little bit more, like this. That's gonna go in the middle. Just don't wanna handle it with my hands here. Okay, so do we have any questions, do you think?
Well, there's some, there was one question came from Daniela, and she was asking where can they find the recipe. The recipe will be posted in the description of the video.
Yeah.
There will be a link, and so you can basically just click that and you can get the video, download it, and print it. And it'll also be in the comments section. So it's not there right now. Hold on to your hats a little bit, and
Yeah.
we'll post it shortly after the live stream is over.
Yeah, and that's the way it is on YouTube and all, well, most channels, unless they're listing the ingredients on the video, but we don't do that. We just post it. It's easier to just download the recipe, right? Okay, so there we go. That's that one on the side here. And there we go. Well, we have to taste it because it's
We got to get a close-up shot of what this all looks like, and then
and we're gonna cut one. Now
cut one, taste it.
I don't remember which one was the caramel one, but we'll make sure we have it somewhere. All right. So let's do 2 lines on this one. We'll do one like that. Actually, we could do 3 lines of caramel, milk, let's just do like that. This needs a little more. Okay. See if I can get a line of caramel over here.
You don't have a cornet
No.
for that?
I'm not gonna wing it, it's gonna be too hard. So we'll just do the chocolate.
So now you're putting in the dark chocolate. Right?
Yeah, just lines of dark and milk.
I think you should just go for it and like take the spoon and like
Go like that?
just give it a whirl on top. Why not?
Why not, right?
This is what live streams are for, people.
Yeah, improvise. Right? Why not? Okay, it needs to be a little runnier. See, we'll just go like that. We're winging it, you guys. Here we go. Caramel coming your way. It looked better before, but that's okay. We got some caramel. Okay, you guys, make sure you make them.
Well, let's get a close up. Let's do a tasting, and get that all going.
Yeah. Okay, so we're not going to show this one. It looked a little weird. Okay, you ready? Now this is not the best light, but
Yeah, we're gonna need, you're gonna need to reset your.
It doesn't look? You can
your
see it?
Camera. We're not getting.
no?
No. We lost it.
Okay.
Live stream. This is what happens in the real world.
Yeah, okay.
Just
There
reset
we go.
the. Okay, hold on. I think we're there. Give me 1 second. We're transitioning. There we go. Oh, I like that. I like it.
That should be there, like that. That should go like that. There you go. See that right there? How beautiful. Look at the texture, it's really nice. You don't know how many cakes I made. I probably made like 4 recipes to come up with this exact amount of allulose and all that.
And now you need to give us the taster. The real.
Now we need a taster, and I am gonna add some caramel. I'm gonna taste the caramel one we made, 'cause why not, right? Okay, so here we go. I'm testing it, you guys. Here we go, ready for you guys. Happy Mother's Day. It's so good.
Excuse me, I need to participate.
Babe, it's so good. Wait, we need a close-up.
Oh, you need it.
Can
You
you
want
see
a
that?
live close-up? You want a live close-up?
Yeah, if you can do that.
Yeah, hold on. I can do that. Hold on. There we go.
God, it's amazing. I mean, seriously, so good.
All that is diabetic-friendly, sugar-free, gluten-free, right?
Oh yeah, it's like I will put a star on my head because it's so good.
Yeah, you get a
You need more caramel.
star on your forehead.
Star on my forehead.
Okay, let me try that.
My first attempts were like a disaster. Right? There we go. Make them, you guys. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you, RX Sugar, for sponsoring the class, and happy baking.
Yeah, and actually, before we go, I want to remind everyone, we do have, for everyone here that wants to purchase our RX Sugar sweeteners and sugars, here's the 20% discount code, Chef Vanessa 20 at rxsugar.com. Take advantage of it. They taste amazing, and you're going to love it. Thank you all.
Bye.